We were riding in a tuk-tuk in the city of Jodhpur. He let us out on the corner of the street, and we stood in this very, very sort of chaotic, busy marketplace. And we were lost. We did not know where we were going, how to sort of navigate the environment to get to where we needed to be. Except that our tour guide, Sanjeev, he literally grabbed us by the hands and he said, "Follow me." And he took us up a couple of flights of stairs, and we merged out onto this beautiful balcony where you could see the whole city. And it was beautiful to see all these different parts of the community. We would go, oh yeah, like there's the palace where we're going, and there's the museum, and there's the park, and here are these neighborhoods. And it all became so clear. We were like, wow, just going up a couple of flights and coming out onto the balcony allowed us to sort of, from the chaos, we began to have clarity of our environment. And that lesson was not lost on me. As a leader, I was beginning to think to myself, I don't do this enough in my regular work life. I am always down below in the chaos of the day-to-day, the madness of the phone calls, or now the Zoom meetings, the conversations, the fires that have to be put out. Yes, that's my job to take care of those things, but I cannot spend all of my time in the swirl of the day-to-day chaos. I have to get on the balcony more often to be a great leader. And when I do, I need to be asking myself 3 questions. And that's what I've got for you here on the screen. 3 questions to really sort of consider and ask yourself, if I'm on the balcony in my business and I'm looking out over the enterprise of the entire organization, I'm looking across the community, I'm looking across my country, I'm looking across the globe, whatever your sort of purview needs to be, to ask yourself what changes are coming, what's on the way, or maybe what's happening right now. What will those impacts be of those big changes? And then more importantly, what do I need to do about it? Us as a leadership team, to put ourselves back in the driver's seat, to get some control back, and to move forward again. And sort of this change roadmap became an absolute game changer for how we as a leadership team shifted our mindset to think very differently about the future. And it kind of took us from an away state to a toward state of mind. And you can see how these types of questions you could ask shift the conversation pretty dramatically in question 3, which is no longer what can't we control, which kind of becomes a problem swirling, to, well, what can we control? And then of course, what do we want to achieve? And how does our strategy need to change? What needs to change about us in order to get to the goal? It becomes a very, very empowering outcome that you can have from a conversation like this. But I just want to share those questions with you because I saw what it did for us. And I think these types of questions could be really useful, not only asking yourself, but in the teams that you are leading to try to get them to begin thinking about what does our roadmap for change look like?
At what point in a time of confusion and change do you go, this is just too radical? Or at what point do you go, I can be as radical as I want now? What's your experience in this?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Julian. Well, I tend to be a little radical. And I think a lot of founders are, a lot of entrepreneurs. It's perhaps a bit more around the idea of, okay, so this is another way I'm sort of helping my clients think about it. I think we have a window of opportunity right now to be radical. There's, sort of all bets are off. The normal is gone. You don't have power, you don't have it, your whole world is sort of upended. So all the things that were kind of the unwritten rules, or maybe even the written rules of the past, I think are not necessarily relevant anymore. I think we're going to be rewriting whole new norms of how we run our companies, how the industry works, how clients buy, why they buy. I think is all going to be very different. That's just my view. So I think while you have a window of opportunity, I would be radical. And I would get your team to get a little bit more like that. Now, one thing to watch for is a lot of people don't like change and uncertainty, which of course always shocks me, because if you're in the agency business, you like change. But I get that people don't like uncertainty. So you want to bring your people along in these conversations to say, this is back to the idea of how do we reimagine, which is throw it all up on a board to say, how would you put these pieces of the puzzle together in a very different way? And again, I think you have permission right now. Things will settle in probably a few months from now. And then of course, who knows what the long-term normal will be. But I really like the idea of erring on the side of being a little more radical now. Just be sure to bring your people along with you.